You mentioned that there are certain words that you're not allowed to say anymore.
Uh-huh.
Could you please tell me some more examples?
Some more examples? You asshole.
Monocracy Audio LLC presents The Ascendant Project. The mission of the Ascendant Project is to explore the origin of political, philosophical, and spiritual positions in individuals. A contributor writes a 750-word essay and then gets interviewed. The purpose of the interview is to bring out other views and hopefully life experiences that sent the author down the path to the position expressed. It is not intended to be a forum for debate, but rather a project to better explore and understand the American experience. All opinions and views expressed, written or verbal, are not necessarily the opinion of the podcast nor Monocracy Audio LLC. They are also not intended to malign anyone or any organization. It is our hope that personal growth is the result, as well as a greater appreciation for new, unique, and differing points of view. Join us on this journey to ascend to a higher state of consciousness.
For the Love of Country by Julia Snapp. Before I jump into the substance of this essay, I will apologize for the jarring juxtaposition of the examples I will discuss. This essay is about love, specifically love of country. I hope the reader will recognize the similarities between how I experience love with my family and friends and how I experience it for my country. I further hope that the reader will recognize the similarities between me and them. Additionally, I will apologize to the country music fans who came to read an in-depth treatise of the genre or its artists. This is not that, but as we sometimes say, come for the politics, stay for the discussion. Wife and the community we choose. I've known my wife first as an acquaintance in elementary school, then as a friend in high school, then as my girlfriend through college, and then as my wife for 38 years. We've been through almost every stage of life, experiencing every twist and turn, up and down, race forward and step backward together. More than anyone else, she is the one I want to see every day, and more than anyone else, she is the one I know and understand the best, me included. She gave birth to our 3 children, supported me through college, and helped me start my business. We've grieved through the loss of loved ones, experienced poverty, and struggled through some pretty serious mental and physical health concerns. Our life together has formed a bond between us that no possible future could destroy. Having lived in Westminster now for about 15 years, I can honestly say I love this place. The politics of the general community here don't match mine much, although it's fair to say we also have much more in common than we admit most of the time. Not long after moving here, I witnessed this small community stage protest of Monsanto right in the center of town. The issue at the time, Bowman v. Monsanto Company, was working its way through the court system. As one might imagine, the implications of this discussion matter a lot to the small, semi-rural community, regardless of political persuasion. As time went on, I have witnessed additional protests, one against abortion, but also the more recent No Kings protests. Beyond the headlines, there is also a strong business community. The county invested heavily in infrastructure projects in the mid-2000s, connecting broadband access to and between the many disparate communities of Carroll County, a project that still motivates businesses to come to, stay, or grow in Carroll County. There are also many meetings every month hosted by one organization or another to bring business owners together. Through the spring, summer, and fall, there are events and fairs in and around Westminster. It's probably one of the few places you can attend both a Pride Festival and a demolition derby within a month of each other. This dynamic and diverse community, while not quite one where everyone knows everyone else, is incredibly tightly bound, despite all the differences. Brothers and Brotherhood. I have 2 younger brothers. We are all grown now, leading separate lives, although we still meet or at least talk to each other almost every month. Considering our childhood together, however, our present relationship was not always guaranteed. We struggled, sometimes violently. As the older brother, I can look back and say definitively, and with deep regret, that I was also the bully occasionally. We were competitive, mostly with ourselves, always aspiring for better grades, another win, or the next life achievement. As stressful as that was, we also supported each other. We attended every Little League baseball game as a family. We did taekwondo together. When an out-of-town relative needed help, we traveled as a family. And if there was work to do, shoveling snow, laying mulch, finishing the basement, it was always known without having to ask that my brothers would be by my side. In my time working for the Department of Defense, I have been privileged to witness the brotherhood and kinship that exists between members of the military. Sure, they joke and tease each other. Anyone who has witnessed the gentle ribbing between a retired airman and retired seaman can attest. But when times get tough, they know they have each other's backs. When the shit really hits the fan, they know they'll all be running the same way, straight towards it. In my time working amongst them, I can say definitively it's not because they are brave. They certainly are brave people, but they don't run towards danger because they are brave. It's because they know the other people running into danger will need help, someone to stand shoulder to shoulder with them or cover their six. I think some of the most telling stories I have heard from people in the military weren't from those who stood on the front lines. It was the story from the Marine whose foot had become so waterlogged, for lack of a better term, during a training mission through the mud that the sole of their foot nearly came off in their boot. I also recall the story from a former Army man who spent a week in a dog cage attempting to join a Special Forces unit. Some of the stories I've heard from retired military who served during the Cold War are truly crazy. The point being that the people who serve in the military aren't simply there because it's their job or because they were told to show up, but because they understood the mission and they know they need to keep each other safe without being asked, and most of the time, without any recognition for the effort. Friends and country. Over the years, I have met a handful of people who I am privileged to still call friends. Every year our friendship continues. I'm more impressed by the longevity, surprised by my own ability to maintain the relationship, and bewildered by their choice to stay. I can sincerely say that I am a better person for having known them. But times have not always been easy, and at many times our friendship felt more fragile than I thought could be sustained. I have been especially vulnerable and open with each of them at different stages of my life. With each of their help, I have managed to navigate some pretty grueling, anxiety-inducing, or painful events, and I hope that I can someday repay the kindness each of them has shown me. I recall the days and weeks immediately following 9/11, the pervasive sense that we were all Americans. We will never forget, and images of the Twin Towers were everywhere. You couldn't watch the evening news without seeing the recovery and then cleanup efforts in New York. It's a feeling I remember clearly, but probably couldn't describe accurately to anyone who didn't live through it. Almost everyone had either lost someone, knew someone who lost someone, or knew someone that knew someone who lost someone. And we didn't know if there was going to be more. The attack wasn't simply on people, but also on a system that no one thought would be weaponized that way. There was a palatable and pervasive sense of grief and anxiety everywhere you went and in everyone you met. But there was also a sense of hope, and a profound sense of gratitude and patriotism. We had all lived through something. It was hard times, and predictions for the future were dire, but we knew we could overcome it as one people and one nation. In the moments that mattered, it was the people on the ground that made the difference more than the person who sat in the Oval Office or who we had elected to Congress. For a time, we would wallow in our grief, anxious about what the next day would bring, while also hopeful for our future as a country and thankful that our fellow Americans were there with us. Patriotism, love of country, had won the day, regardless of what state you resided or what political party you favored. What is love? Love is complicated, both in practice and in theory. And before this essay becomes a love letter to my wife, family, and friends, and before my parents, children, and everyone else I love starts to feel left out, it is that concept, and specifically how that concept applies to the love of one's country, that I wish to discuss. Developing a mature understanding of love is something that has been a lifelong endeavor. The thing I thought of as love when I was an 18-year-old getting reacquainted with my future wife is a lot different from the feeling that I have come to know. And in learning that feeling, I am now able to see it in so many other aspects of my life. It's not that gushy flirtation that I think we associate with the term as children. It's much more. As Hugh Grant's character says in the movie of the same name, love, actually, is all around. I consider that movie Love Actually to be the most prescient film on the subject. Although it's considered a Christmas movie, the themes are relevant across cultures and at any time of the year. All of that to say, if you haven't seen it, put it on your bucket list. I promise, man or woman, parent or child, native or foreigner, you will not be disappointed. Without giving any spoilers, the movie opens with Hugh Grant voicing over a scene of families, friends, and loved ones reuniting at an airport. The movie was released in 2003, and presumably this scene takes place at the same time, just a few short years after 9/11. Hugh Grant's soliloquy narrates the scene and captures the feeling perfectly, as shot after shot shows hugs and kisses. Hugh Grant says, "When the planes hit the Twin Towers, as far as I know, none of the phone calls from the people on board were messages of hate or revenge. They were all messages of love. If you look for it, I've got a sneaky feeling you'll find that love, actually, is all around." To understand this, let's first discuss what love is not. Love is not simple affection. It's not an intense like, as some might describe. Likes and preferences, even strongly held ones, can and often do change over time. They should. People should learn, grow, and mature throughout their lives. Affection can become more intense or even disappear as that happens. It's not bad or wrong. It's a recognition that interests, good or bad, can be fickle. Similarly, love is not passion or lust or anything that can disappear with post-nut clarity. I would also argue that love is not loyalty. It's not the weight of history that binds two people together. Certainly, shared experiences are important for developing strong relationships, but love demands more than just being in the same place at the same time. The people we see on a regular and frequent basis likely do care about the same things, but that doesn't necessarily extend to each other. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, love is not exclusive. By this I mean love is not giving yourself over fully to the exclusion of everyone else, to one person. It's also not the expectation that another person will give themselves over to you, as though some kind of exclusivity agreement is what binds you together. People should always be free to choose who and how they love without any expectation or prohibition on those choices. With that in mind, let's now discuss what love is, at least in my experience. Love is intimacy. I'm not referring to sexual intimacy here, but a kind of intellectual, emotional, or situational intimacy shared between people. Intimacy is difficult. It takes work. It requires that we be brave enough to share ourselves, but also demands that we let others share with us without judgment. Love is also a kind of faith. Here again, I'm not referring to spiritual faith or a faith in God or even faithfulness, but a faith in your fellow person. Love requires one to have faith that the people they love will not betray them, that those people will be considerate of them, while also knowing that those people will make mistakes and may sometimes be callous with our feelings. Lastly, love is generosity. It is that feeling of fulfillment that comes from sharing, even when we have given so much of ourselves. It's more than simply money or time devoted to a person. It's thoughtful giving. Those three things, intimacy, faith, and generosity, that is what I call love. It may seem to some to be a very mechanical definition or that it leaves a lot out. Truth be told, it does. There's a lot more to it. This definition doesn't say anything about love of a subject or activity, but I propose that in nearly all cases where a person says that they love another person or that they love their country, this is a reasonable and nearly universal definition. Love of country. What is love of country? I have an idea, but the truth is, I don't know. I do know what it's not. Far too often I hear the phrase, Democrats, liberals, conservatives, Republicans hate America. If they loved America, they would love all of America, or all Americans. No, love is not exclusive. We cannot expect our countrymen to choose the country we prefer. We must trust that they will, eventually, do what's best for all of us. Love of country for me means accepting our disagreements. I won't pretend that I'm always tolerant of those disagreements. I'm only human, and hypocrisy is the great American pastime. But my love for my country demands that I have faith in my countrymen. Similarly, I often hear, "This country used to be better. America is so much worse now." Again, no. Love is not naive passion or unbridled lust for the past. A love that leaves once the consequences of the past have come to the present is no love at all. As a child of the 80s and 90s, I can say definitively that there was a lot of that time to look back on with regret, and I'm happy that things have changed. We learned, grew, and matured as a people and as a country. Smear the queer and allowing people to say the N-word with impunity was at best disrespectful, and at worst outright racism or homophobic. Lastly, I sometimes hear, the news only shows the bad parts of our country. They should show more of the good, or be less biased. I can't, won't deal with it. Surely, times are difficult, and there doesn't seem to be an end coming soon. And of course, it's easy to be triggered, to be stunned into silence, to be frozen into inaction, or just to feel hopeless. Those feelings are legitimate and understandable. But love of country must win the day. Let's grieve and feel that anxiety together. We may have different reasons to grieve or to feel anxious, but let's recognize that we are all sharing this experience and the feelings that go with it together. And let's not forget to have hope for the future and gratitude that our fellow countrymen are here today with us. We'll figure this out together, eventually. Love of country is everywhere if you look for it. And just in case it wasn't clear, or if you're an American and you feel like you've lost that love of country, know that I'm still here, and I will carry my love of country for you.
All right, Julius.
Brian.
How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing well. So, summarize this article.
All right, so
Let's see if your summary will be shorter than the article.
Yeah, I don't know. It was quite a long article, but it's a complicated subject, right?
Yes.
I mean, this is really about just the concept of love and like specifically love of country and how those two experiences are similar for me, at least. I think we often talk about like the people that we love, the things we love to do. But how we talk about and discuss love of country, or what some might call just patriotism, which is maybe similar but different, is often like talked about just differently than how we talk about love of a person, love of a spouse or a child or whatever. But
right.
But to me, like they're the same. They're just two halves of the same coin.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. How many words was that?
I don't know.
I have a few thousand more, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So, love of nation, love of country, love of family.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to draw an analogy there throughout the whole thing. You want to go quickly into simply the analogy?
Okay. Man, that's gonna be tough.
I have my hunch. I could answer the question for you, but then I want to have a question.
Well, right, yeah. No, I think so. The analogy was loving a person, loving your country requires a certain, I name like three things specifically: intimacy, generosity, and
Now we're back
faith.
to our normal form.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's really like three things that I lay out. It's intimacy, faith, and generosity. And, I experience each of those things in different ways, but I could definitely say that they're the same with each of the different people in my life. Being intimate with a friend Sharing a closeness or kinship is, really the same concept for me as, the kind of like intimacy that we all experience. And I talk about, my experience after 9/11,
Yeah.
that we had all shared something together, that we were all, kind of just in it together.
Yeah. So go ahead and talk about 9/11 a little bit. Like, what was that feeling on 9/12 that you really had?
The feeling on 9/12, so for me, and I think for a lot of people, especially in the Maryland, Virginia area, a lot of us know someone or work directly, in government, specifically in the federal government. My parents were both still employed,
Hmm.
employed there at the time. My father was
Employed
probably,
where?
huh?
World Trade or
No, no.
Pentagon?
My father was at the FCC,
Oh, okay.
and my mother was at NASA. So my mother, in Greenbelt at Goddard.
Yeah.
My father, though, the
So
FCC building is only like, I don't know, a mile and a half
yeah. So
from the
so they both
Pentagon.
got stuck like my dad did in the traffic jam from hell.
Yeah, the traffic jam from hell that you couldn't contact anyone that to say like, "Hey, I'm alive.
Yeah, because
Hey, I'm on my way
everything
home."
was jammed. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So like, but all of that happened on 9/11. But I definitely remember 9/12. It was like, there was nothing about 9/11 before it became 9/11 to suggest that like this was a thing that could ever happen.
Hmm.
Like terrorist attacks until then, I think were, kind of like limited in their scope to like, you'd have a hijacker take over a plane,
Yeah.
something like that. But this was just like on a whole other scale.
Yeah.
And so on 9/12, you're just like, what the fuck is today gonna be like?
Yeah. Because before 9/11, when a hijacker took over a plane, it was to hold hostages and get ransom, usually to
Right.
free some prisoners and that
Right.
Israel was holding or whatnot. And so they were holding the passengers as leverage.
Yeah.
Whereas nobody had ever thought of a human guided missile.
Right.
And so the perspective of the nation definitely changed because and South Park did a great trilogy on this with the and the Kyle sucks Cartman's balls trilogy, but where the terrorists attacked our imagination.
Uh-huh.
And so, they South Park did this great scene which totally parodied Saving Private Ryan, where a terrorist went into imagination land
Yeah.
and totally blew it up. And it was like, so, I mean, it sounds completely ridiculous because, when you talk about South Park, you're always sounding ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
It's kind of a requirement.
metaphorically speaking, it was so spot on that, the terrorists are in our heads
Yeah.
and we were kind of afraid of everything. And I just seem
Right.
to remember the time, like, something would happen, like a refinery would go offline. And even though it wasn't terrorism, there was like an undercurrent of rumor in the populace that it was.
Hmm.
And, and then you started dealing with the security codes, code yellow, code orange.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh man.
you know,
Yeah.
so, and it's weird because you go into a military base. I mean, you still find that there, just kind of call it something else, like condition ready or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, security condition, SecCon or whatever. And it's the same scale. I don't think they go with the colors, but
Right.
it's the exact same scale. But I mean, yeah, I just there was definitely a time of paranoia and being afraid,
Yeah.
for like the next 5 years.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I remember it being especially visceral in those like few days after.
Oh yeah.
And I remember, it's like you would just walk around and like you'd just see people holding their heads down or their eyes drooping, and you're like, "Yep, I know what you're experiencing. I know what you're going through." Like it was tough, but it was like, I don't know if I want to say good, but it was just nice knowing that the thing you were experiencing, everyone else could experience too.
Yeah. There's a sense of community from shared feeling
Right. Right.
that occurred.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if communion is the right term for that or not, but it's to a certain extent, a large number of people were on the same page. That said, yeah, it seemed like overall crime did drop, and we had a few peaceful weeks there
Right.
afterwards. But even during those peaceful weeks, when people are scared, they usually turn towards their prejudices. And there were like attacks on mosques,
Yes.
especially like in
Yeah.
Tennessee that occurred.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I do.
9/11 led to a very complicated time.
Yeah.
And it's like, have we ever really exited that time?
I don't think we really have. It's all just echoes. I mean, for me at least, it feels like just echoes from that time. Like there
Yeah.
was, right after that, there was there were all the attacks on mosques and on Muslims. I remember being, kind of concerned and fearful for my own uncle and cousin who are both, my uncle is Egyptian immigrant.
Yeah.
And they had 3 children who, they were, I never, to be honest, I never, until maybe somewhat recently, thought of them as being anything other, thought of them as being any race at all. But I mean, they're not really white in the same sense,
Yeah.
So yeah, I was worried for them.
Yeah. And I think one thing that I've come away with about our country is that we do not know our own power.
Oh yeah, I
we
agree.
are a puppy
Yeah.
who is very reckless, tearing up the house. And a lot of times we just think that we're doing good. But like on 9/11, we lost 3,000 people.
Right.
We're in Afghanistan. Let's see here. Oh, where's the casualties? There it is, casualties and losses. Somewhere between 66 and 92,000 people died in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And we weren't done. We went to Iraq after that.
Right.
And there, in response to our 3,000 people,
It doesn't have it.
it does, but it
It's
kind of
total
divides
dead.
it up. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is total dead here. So somewhere between 34,000 and 71,000 casualties and losses. Yeah. Yeah.
Is that total or just U.S.? Or?
That seems low to me. Yes. Documented deaths from violence. Here we go. Opinion research business came up with over 1 million.
Wow.
Lancet survey came across, I guess, between 400K and 942K. So we're talking like possibly 1 million dead in response to our 3,000 people dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Americans are so detached from their government and from world events.
Yeah.
We just don't know what we're doing.
Well, so an interesting kind of sidebar. There's, I remember Facebook did, I don't know if you really want to call it a study, but some analysis of their data early on where they determined, the number of social connections that you can, a single person can reasonably maintain.
Yeah.
Something like 125,
Right.
So then you think about these people who have thousands of friends, and it's like, how many of those relationships are you really able to maintain on a regular basis? And that's not a criticism at all. I think I have some ridiculous number of friends on Facebook too, but the point being that, if you take all the people and then all the people they know,
right,
and then all the people those people know, and you're still you're not even really that close to the population of the United States, right?
Right.
So like the number of connections between you and your congressperson or senator
Yeah.
or the president is just astronomical. Like there's essentially no connection there. Like forget about like physical distance, like the social distance between any citizen and their government is like incredibly large right now.
You have 188 friends on Facebook.
I do. I don't even remember the last time I checked, honestly. I'm not on Facebook that much.
No, you aren't.
No. I
No,
keep
it's-
saying like, oh, I'm gonna try and reach out and reconnect, but
The only reason, probably why I'm on Facebook still, is this project, number one. And number two, you don't get invites if you're not on Facebook, it seems. You know, if you want to be a social butterfly, you got to have a way for people to reach you. And people just don't reach out by phone or anything like that anymore.
No.
You know,
It's like not even a thought anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's after 9/11, I mean, there was definitely a unity, I thought,
Yeah.
throughout.
Absolutely.
And I remember, you know, when I was up in Thurmont, Maryland, which is like only a couple miles away from Camp David, I saw something that I will never see again. And, you know, they were patrolling the skies, you know, in the days after 9/11.
Yeah.
And I saw two, I don't know if they were F-16s or whatever, but they were patrolling the skies, coming in from great angles. And then they both turned after they passed each other.
Uh-huh.
And I realized I was at the junction point of a patrol point.
Yeah.
And so it was like I kind of saw a really cool maneuver by the military above, you know, where I was living. And, you know, and I don't think I'll ever see that again. But it was just kind of cool to see like a synced patrol going on there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, there's lots of things from that time that like I hope to God I never see that again, but
the bluest sky that day.
Yeah.
The absolutely bluest sky. I mean, it's the terrorists couldn't ask for better photography.
Yeah, no shit.
I mean, it was just like, yeah. Absolutely nuts.
And I don't know if you remember too, but and we all experienced it differently. So I guess I can really only speak for me. But like, I definitely remember feeling like, oh man, maybe I should join the military. And I mean, having worked now with the DoD for a while, I know plenty of people who joined up because of 9/11. And I definitely remember having that feeling. I was like 3 years into college though, or 2 years at least into college at that point. So I was like, I'm just going to finish this. But I mean, I remember like calls for donating blood to the, at that time I was donating blood like very regularly. And, so I went and donated. And
I think I got a better respect for the military after 9/11.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, although my best friend from high school, he wound up joining. We were so horrible. We started like divvying up his stuff.
I mean,
and he's like, "I'm not dying." It's like I want the kayak.
I remember though, there was like a
but I mean, this
like a morbid humor.
That was like 1997, and 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 I was like, I remember like when Saddam invaded Kuwait, I was afraid of being drafted. And so the military, was something that I was more scared of as opposed to appreciative of. And after 9/11, suddenly the perspective of my head changed to where these are people who are willing to sacrifice for this nation.
Yeah.
And a reverence kind of grew within me when it comes to that. And I began to appreciate, I think, a little bit more the service of, my my pop-up and my uncle. And, and of course I married a vet. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so since I brought her up, you have a subtitle of What is love? Love? Baby, don't hurt me.
I was wondering when it was going to
no more.
when it was going to come up.
What, were you thinking I was going to do that?
Yeah, I thought for sure you were going to tell me to do the Night at the Roxbury head bob.
Yeah, 100%.
Yet another reason we might do video.
Yeah.
Or maybe we shouldn't do. I don't know.
We shouldn't do video. Yeah, well, I mean, you want to lift up your shirt for Kirsten, I mean, it's only fair play.
Yeah.
But, Anyway, yeah, so love is complicated, both in theory and practice. So, going with the analogy, how is love complicated for you in the United States?
I think me, just like everyone else, it's like you look at the things on the news or you look at the things in your community, and it's not necessarily always something you agree with. Even going to a No Kings protest, or any protest, like you see plenty of people with signs. You're like, I don't know if I really agree with it. Like, I'm happy that you're here, but
yeah,
this isn't really the direction I would take.
I always have mixed feelings about an upside down flag.
Yeah.
I mean, oddly enough, I'd be more comfortable with the burning of a flag than I am an upside down flag. I don't know why.
Yeah,
but
I don't know.
I mean, I feel like burning a flag means you're really angry at it. The turning a flag upside down, I know it's supposed to mean that the country's in distress.
Right.
But for me, I feel like a lot of people do that more as a sign of disrespect.
Yeah, I get that sense.
But
yeah.
Speaking of which, I mean, I feel like also flag burning. You're not supposed to throw out a flag. The only way you're supposed to dispose of it is
burning it. Yes.
Or
burying it. I think you're supposed to bury it.
No, I don't think you're supposed to bury it.
No?
I think you're supposed to only burn it. I think it's the only place.
Okay.
I can look up the flag code and we'll throw in a clarification in the notes. But yeah, I think you're only supposed to burn it, which, it's so every time I see a tattered flag in the trash and I tell them you're supposed to burn it, a lot of times people don't know that. And they're like, they get offended that, you're telling them to burn a flag.
Right.
But, it's supposed to be done ceremonially.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of things about the flag code that we have no respect for whatsoever.
Oh, yeah. You're not supposed to wear the flag.
You're not supposed to wear it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, who was that dude? Who's that dude? Who did Because I Got High?
Oh, Are you talking about Afro Man?
Yes.
Who just won his lawsuit?
Yes. Well, and he was on the stand wearing basically an American flag suit.
Right.
Right. You're not really supposed to do that, dude.
I love right, exactly. I love his lawyer though, who like I don't know if it was in his closing arguments, he like turns towards the jury and says, look at my client. Does this look like a man who takes things seriously? Oh man. Perfect.
Yeah. So, Love Actually, huh?
Love Actually. Have you seen it?
Oh, I think many times.
Yeah. Okay.
It is a Christmas tradition in our house.
Yeah.
And, I know there seems to be, I've read articles about how it's cringe now. But for me, no, I think it's like one of my favorite movies. It's like the only Christmas movie that I really like, actually.
What is cringe about it, though?
The whole signs thing and the fact that he's like crushing on his best friend's wife.
Oh,
yeah. But
whatever.
But I mean, there are a lot of things that are like. Well, I thought like in Dead Post Society when I thought there was a couple things that was cringe about that one dude who was trying to get with that one girl. I thought it
Oh,
was
yeah.
cringe at the time,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's
I don't know. I mean, that's something I say in my essay. Having grown up in the 80s and 90s, although Love
yeah,
Actually didn't occur until like early
2000.
2000s.
Yeah,
But yeah, like there's lots of stuff we look back on now and we're like, that is just
yeah,
not good.
right.
But and I think it's good that we learn, grow, and progress as a society. I know there are
Yeah, I
some people
completely
who are
agree.
like, you could say whatever you want. Well, no, you said whatever you want. Nobody liked it. That was
Yeah,
like, yeah, I don't know.
right. All right. What was your favorite part of the film?
Favorite part of the film is, man, I can't
The porn
remember.
star stand-ins. I know.
Yeah, that was going to be my first response. Then I was like, nah.
Yeah. So
I don't.
Brian will go there for me.
Right, exactly. I was like, I'm just gonna wait for him to move his piece.
Yes, with the Hobbit.
Yep. Yeah. No, it was
Same
what's it was the guy talking to the woman from whatever country, and they have
Mhm.
they had
They don't understand each other, but they
don't
understand each other
understand each other.
perfectly.
Right, exactly. They at one point they're having like a conversation, I use in air quotes, in the car,
Yeah,
not knowing what each other are saying, but somehow like
but they were always on the same page.
there is exactly.
Yep.
And which is I think is also, as I'm talking about it,
Yeah,
I'm
his
realizing,
proposal was actually really,
oh yeah,
really
it
good.
was epic. Yeah. Getting the whole
You know,
town involved. Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was between the proposal for me and the run through the airport.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
so yeah, great moments in that film.
Definitely.
So Corinthians 13. Are you
Wait, what?
Corinthians 13.
Oh, okay.
Are you familiar with that passage at
I'm
all?
not.
All right. Well.
Let's pull it up on the bulletin board.
Yeah, seriously. All right. So Corinthians 13, because I feel like this dovetails.
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 Woo.
Corinthians 13. Yeah, here we go. If I speak in tongues of men or of angels, but I do not have love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. If I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all the mysteries of and all knowledge, and if I have faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but I do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always preserves. Love never fails, but when there are prophecies, they will cease. Where there are tongues, they will be stilled. Where there is knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part, but when completeness comes, what is in part disappears. When I was a child, I talked like a child, thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. But when I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now, we only see a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. And now I know in part, I shall know fully, even though I am fully known. And now these three remain: faith, hope, and love. But the greatest of these is love. So that passage, or at least a good chunk of it, I mean, verses 8 through 12,
Yeah.
I don't think really necessarily completely applied, but definitely the first half of it and the last line, I felt really went well with what you had written
Yeah.
about what love is.
Yeah. As you're saying it, as you're quoting it, reading it, I'm realizing they had both faith and giving
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah. Not bad for an agnostic, I'd say.
Yeah, not bad. Well, I always have to wonder about times like these because it's like, I was raised Catholic.
Yeah, and that's
Went
probably
to
where you
church every Sunday.
pulled it
And
from. Yeah.
yeah, there's maybe some.
Maybe you got it from the Latin.
Right. That has to be it. Yep. Yeah, some neuron fired and recalled, the memory. I don't know.
It's like one of the most. That section is like read at almost every wedding.
Yeah. Although
So-
the other part, when I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. That also featured in Hackers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure. I'll have to look that up later.
Crank hackers?
Crank hackers?
Crankers. Hackers. I don't think I saw the movie Hackers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is spot on. Exactly what hacking is like.
Oh, yeah. Do they wear black
use-
hats and white hats?
No, I'm definitely being sarcastic.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Cool. So you also talk about intimacy in
Mhm.
this essay. How can you build intimacy with your country?
I mean, I think the best example is, that I could give it would be 9/11.
Mhm.
But outside of strictly that, it's,
So it takes a calamity for us to realize what's really good.
No, I think what I really mean is just like shared experience, like,
Right.
so when I'm out in my community and here in Westminster, and I see people on the street, speaking up for what they believe in, I feel like I share in that experience, especially if I'm there participating or observing directly and not
Yeah.
just like driving through town seeing it. We're sharing that together as a community, and something like No Kings would definitely be, that's really become a national protest.
Oh, yeah.
So
In
the
fact, it might be growing internationally at this point,
yeah
but it's definitely a movement.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, definitely, there's a shared, perspective, a shared, words are just like failing me now, but like shared feeling for, what the health is of our country at the
Mhm.
moment, in this moment. I think that's really what I mean as intimacy. It's just like we're experiencing this thing, whatever. It doesn't have to be bad or calamitous, but good or bad together.
Right.
I think you and I both watched the U.S. win the gold medal hockey match.
Yes. And
you
even
know?
Gwen Stefani's now a hullabaloo girl.
There you go. You like how I set you up there?
Yeah, totally, 100%.
That's just another one of those shared experiences, because man, it did not look like we were going to win that game the
whole
entire
game. Yeah.
yeah.
How
There's
about just a
definitely
wall,
times, yeah,
which is a Toronto goaltender.
Yep. Yeah. The weird web we weave.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of those things go into, love of country. This, like, we're all here together, experiencing it together, grieving together, hoping together.
Yeah.
All of it.
Okay. Very good. Very good. So, for me, one of the things that came up was you talk about, far too often you hear the phrase Democrats, liberals, conservatives, Republicans hate America. If they loved America, they would love all of America or all Americans. No, love is not exclusive. So, when you love someone, do you love them with their faults?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you have to, if you
Yeah.
and I think, honestly, Kirsten probably said it best.
Mhm.
Our previous
Episode.
that it's possible for two things to be true.
Yeah.
Just because you dislike the way the country is going doesn't mean you hate the country.
Correct.
Um, just because you dislike a certain policy doesn't mean you hate the people that might be most directly affected by that policy.
Right.
It might be, foolhardy or a little bit disingenuous, but those people are still wanting the best for this country, just like you are.
Right.
At least that's my call on it. Yeah.
Okay. So that kind of deals with the person. But go ahead and apply that to the nation.
Okay. So a thought had occurred to me like somewhat recently about the differences between New York liberals and California liberals, and
Yeah.
how like if the two of them were in the room together,
The New York liberals would win the fight.
I mean, for sure, the gangs of New York, for sure have had enough time. There's a lot that separates us. There's still kind of interesting ties that bind.
Mhm.
In fairness, like a Louisiana Democrat might have more in common with a West Virginia Republican than
Yeah.
than the simple like party line would suggest.
Oh yeah. Well, we're talking about being able to love America as a whole.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think you have to accept. Like I said, it's love is not exclusive. Like I can't place prohibitions or restrictions on the way you choose to love the country, love this country.
Is accountability part of love?
I don't know if I would say. I mean, it's certainly part of being a good person.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would say it's. Man, that's tough. Man, you're making me think. I don't know. What is your opinion?
Well, I mean, if I love the country, I definitely want crimes to be held accountable. I would definitely want reform because, for me, my love of country isn't just about my love of country today. It's about the love of country for tomorrow, you know, and and trying to make this country into something greater than what it already is. It's kind of like a child and a parent relationship. You got to hold your kid accountable because you love your kid and you want them to become the best person that they can be. It's for me. I feel accountability is part of it, just because I view myself and my peers as parents to the country, and because we have the responsibility to really affect it. Whereas I think a lot of people view the country as the parent and that they're the child,
Mm.
and their country can do no wrong. And I kind of feel like that might be a difference between patriotism and nationalism.
Hmm.
Where with nationalism, you don't question the country. Whereas patriotism, you love the country, but you're trying to build something for tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Okay.
That's kind of how I view it.
I
But
I might disagree slightly. I mean, I certainly think.
oh, that's it. Our friendship's over.
Yeah. Forget it.
Forget it. All gone.
Flip a table. No, I mean, I think accountability is important, an important quality, but like, I'm married.
Yeah.
And of course I've always been right in every argument.
Oh, 100%.
Right. And my wife doesn't always apologize for
Right.
but that's I love her anyway. I think
Oh.
I would like an apology sometimes, even and all kidding aside, I know I'm not always right, but I
well,
would,
the other person doesn't necessarily have to accept accountability,
right.
but you need to be able to stand your ground and say, "Hey, look, I feel this is wrong. This is how it harmed me," and we can move forward.
But would you say that's a requirement to, or a prerequisite to just loving someone to?
I think there are different types of love, and I think might be a requirement for a deep, mature love is a little bit of
Hmm.
accountability and respect.
Yeah.
Because respect always needs to be there for love anyway. And accountability, I feel, is a growth of respect. Now, keep in mind, I've also seen accountability become very abusive. I've seen accountability become means of control, especially if
Yeah.
it's one way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there needs to be balance in it. There needs to be, for instance, like the difference between revenge and justice. There's got to be an element of like mercy there. There's got to be an element of forgiveness.
Yeah.
In order to really achieve justice, you got to give a little bit of grace. You need to be able to see the whole point of view,
Right.
including the point of view of the accused,
Mm-hmm.
in making your judgment. Whereas if it's just simply this person did this, therefore the exact same thing needs to happen to that person. That's not necessarily,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's fair. Yeah. I mean, I guess I would only suggest like my expectation for that is just that is not necessarily that they're apologizing because I love them or they love me.
Right.
They're apologizing just because they know they should apologize.
Right.
But yeah, that's interesting. Like, I think that's a good take on that. Definitely could probably talk more about that sometime.
Okay, so
Oh boy.
you mentioned that there are certain words that you're not allowed to say anymore.
Uh-huh.
Could you please tell me some more examples?
Some more examples? You asshole. No.
Like what N word were you referring to?
Obviously, it's the 4-letter N word.
Nice.
Nice. That was obviously the one as I roll my eyes. Yeah, like the F word, which definitely got dropped like in the last episode, but
yes, it was, and I don't know what I'm going to do with that. But I mean, I might bleep it and put a note on there and to the Ted Lasso snippet. Where
oh yeah.
He said the F word. What, fuck? No, the other F word. Oh,
fuck.
fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. That was a good take on that.
Yeah, I hated Smear the Queer growing up. I was young. I was really thin and underweight, and anytime somebody wanted to play that, it always 100% time meant me getting hurt. It was, yeah. So it's funny how the biggest kid in the neighborhood always wants to play King of the Hill or Smear the Queer, because he likes hurting people,
right?
And it's just like, yeah, horrible. School, not even schoolyard games, backyard games when parents aren't around.
Yeah, I think, yeah,
100%.
I was listening to, as a kind of aside or tangent, I've been slowly adding songs to my Spotify, right, from years, decades past. And, we've talked before about how, like, people don't really listen to the lyrics. Well, I've been listening to the lyrics more and more, and was it Dire Straits? Money for Nothing?
Oh, yeah.
Man, the opening for that, at the beginning of that song, I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that section in there was on the album and did not get played on the radio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's why I don't remember it. Because I was like...
about and the makeup. Yeah, brother, that's his own hair. That little, that's an own jet airplane. Yeah. So, that little is a millionaire. And yeah, that got totally cut from. Just remember, he's the same guy who did Princess Bride soundtrack. Keep that in mind.
What?
Yeah. Mark Knopfler. He did the Princess Bride soundtrack.
What the fuck?
He is such a freaking great musician. Absolutely great musician. I mean, I do not like jazz, but if you like listen to his music, there's definitely jazz influence in his rock and roll.
Yeah.
And it's like I can appreciate what I don't like in that. Like with Your Latest Trick, that's a great song by him, off of Brothers in Arms as well. Brothers in Arms is a great album. Great album.
Brothers in Arms.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
For some
So
reason,
you
I was
had
like Brothers in Arms, and then I was like, no, I'm thinking of Band of Brothers.
yeah. His biggest hits off of that album were, of course, Money from Nothing and Walk of Life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one too.
Do.
That one's a genuinely good one.
Yeah. So that was like one of the first albums I owned.
Huh.
All right. So, are you optimistic about this country?
I am.
Okay.
And you and I have talked about this many times.
Yeah.
I am. Now, if you're asking me if I'm optimistic about next year or the year after, or even the 2 years after that, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think the long-term future is bright. I think, I still believe in the, I can't remember, Obama said it, but it wasn't his quote, that the arc of history bends towards justice or something like that. And I think that will still be true.
You got to do the
for
work.
this country. You got to do the work.
You got to do the work for the arc of history to continue to bend towards justice.
Yeah. And I mean, I think it's fair to say we are going through or experiencing a second Gilded Age.
Yeah.
We got out of the
hoping that
first
means
one.
we're coming into a second FDR. Minus the Japanese intern camps.
Yeah, that would be good. Or the the World War or any of the other things. But yeah, I mean, I think we'll get there.
Think we'll get there?
I do. I think leveler heads will prevail, and love is stronger than hate. If our experiences after 9/11 kind of test, I think. And that was a much different circumstance, but I think the American people will surprise us.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the one thing you want to take away from this essay?
I think the thing I want people to take away is if you're going to say you love this country, then you have to give a little grace. Like you said, you have to recognize that even if we all have, we may have different reasons for feeling aggrieved or anxious about the future, but we all feel anxious. Like that is something you can empathize with your fellow American about. Is even if you can't necessarily agree on why you have any anxiety, you both have anxiety about our current state, the current state of things, and our future. And I think we just need to recognize that. That was a horrible outro, but that's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah. All right. So then I guess it's time for my last thing, huh?
Yeah. Give it to me, baby.
Tell them it's Christmas carolers.
Am I going to hold up your country loves?
Oh, darn
it. You too.
There you go.
Nice.
The Love Actually episode.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, cool. So do you have anything more, my friend?
Nope.
Cool. I think I pretty much got it all too. So thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you.
And by all means, please like and subscribe. Give us some feedback, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong. and share. If you like this podcast, tell somebody about it.
Yeah.
Please spread the word. And, because in the end, it's all about you all. I mean, although we do enjoy doing this every now and then, it's helping us think in different ways than we hadn't before.
Yep.
And it's a great mental exercise for us. In the end, we also want this to be shared, and we want to challenge you all to think in different ways than necessarily normally do. And we want you to grow. So please let us know how we're doing, and if we're making an impact. That's about it. You all have a great week.
You have been listening to The Ascended Project. The Ascended Project is a production of Monocacy Audio, LLC. Any information expressed in this podcast is not intended to be a substitute for expert information. We are human and ordinary people, and as a result, what is presented as fact may be in error. Monocacy Audio, LLC and this podcast hold no liability from events or damages that result from listening to or reading this podcast or its associated materials. All articles, interviews, and sound files are copyright Monocacy Audio, LLC, with all rights reserved, except our awesome theme music is by Alexei Chitalin. His music can be found on pixabay.com as well as Spotify underneath the pseudonym Lexin Music. Thank you for listening and have a great day.